Democratic gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke is pledging to transform the Texas Medical Board if elected. This in response to a months-long series of investigation that revealed disciplinary records kept secret, doctors deemed a threat allowed to keep practicing, and top-dollar donors appointed by the governor to the board. Investigator Matt Grant spoke with O'Rourke and has more on his plan that could impact your safety and become a political issue this election.
That's what stands out to me from what I have learned from your reporting is just this pay-to-play system that we knew existed in Texas. I didn't know how bad it was at the TMB, but it's something that we've got to change.
Beto O'Rourke wants more accountability and oversight of the Texas Medical Board, the state agency overseeing how doctors are licensed and disciplined.
We might not have the oversight and the accountability for our medical providers that we should be able to count on for ourselves and for our family.
The former presidential hopeful turned Democratic candidate for governor saying he would change the makeup of the 19-member board so public members meant to represent patients are equal to the number of doctors sitting on the board, something patient safety advocates tell us is needed.
If elected, would you appoint public members who come from a patient safety or patient advocacy background?
If I'm governor, we're going to make sure that the Texas Medical Board is comprised of people whose sole focus is in protecting the public health.
Our investigations found at least 7 board members on the TMB collectively donated nearly $400,000 to Governor Abbott, with public members plucked from energy, business, and real estate sectors. O'Rourke says he would not appoint people who donated to his campaign and would select public members with expertise in patient safety. He also wants to work with the legislature to do away with donor appointments for all state boards.
The last thing that we'll look at is whether someone has donated to me or not. People need to be placed in these positions on their merits. Look, at the end of the day, our responsibility in our state government is to look out for and protect the people of Texas.
In a statement, the governor's office tells us Abbott expects board members and doctors to uphold the highest standards of care and trust and will accept nothing less. They would not say why donors are appointed. His staff touted the Texas Medical Board as, quote, a national leader in transparency and discipline, sending us this investigation by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution as evidence. The problem? The report is 6 years old. It also only looked at a few focused areas, like medical board transparency when it comes to discipline records being made public for doctors specifically accused of sexual misconduct with patients. The report did not measure the overall performance of the medical board. Matt Grant, State of Texas.
Thanks, Matt. A quick note, we gathered this interview and the governor's response before the tragedy in Uvalde. The board's president sat down with us this week and discussed what O'Rourke had to say, along with several aspects of what we've uncovered in recent months. We have a link to his full interview in this story in the politics section of this station's website.
I'm here today in the hopes of applying what energy, reason, and passion that I have into trying to turn this moment into a reality. Because as I said, this moment is different. We are in a window of opportunity right now that we have not been in before. A window where it seems like real change can happen.
Texas native and Austin resident Matthew McConaughey lending a little star power to ongoing gun reform talks, making a surprise visit to the White House this week, meeting with President Joe Biden and lawmakers, urging them to speak with each other and make legislative changes following the shooting in Uvalde, which also happens to be McConaughey's hometown. Attorney General Merrick Garland taking action this week on the ongoing Department of Justice investigation into local and state law enforcement response in Uvalde, appointing a team of 9 to help his department review police policies, training, communication, and the deployment of officers and other tactics.
We've been invited by the mayor. We have been promised, assured, and welcomed with respect to cooperation by every level of law enforcement, state, federal, and local. And we'll participate in that vein. We don't expect any problems.
It will also examine who was in command of the incident and how police prepared for potential active shooter incidents. In the wake of the shooting, Governor Greg Abbott has issued nearly a dozen directives and executive orders. One of the latest, a letter sent to Texas Health and Human Services Commissioner Cecile Young, telling her to use all available resources to ensure mental health support services are available to every child in Uvalde. and to maintain the state's 24/7 crisis hotline as a single point of contact for anyone in the community seeking mental health assistance. He also directed the Texas Education Agency to create the position of Chief of School Safety and Security. It would report to the TEA commissioner while having a direct line to the governor. Abbott is also directing the Department of Public Safety, the Texas Education Agency, and other agencies to expand and accelerate the adoption of the iWatch Texas program. iWatch is a partnership between communities and law enforcement to help the public report suspicious activity, criminal, terroristic, or school safety threats. You can report that at iWatchTX.org, the iWatch Texas app, or by calling 844-643-2251.
A new report reveals how many children face abuse again after being put in state care. The latest in the quest to fix Texas' broken foster care system. And the latest on The Refuge, as the shelter meant to help victims of human trafficking makes big changes to their operation.